Here it is. It's been a rainy day here, and uh, I've decided that I'd like to welcome you into my home. And this is the first time I've done a complete tour of my home for spring, so I hope you enjoy it. I want you to grab yourself a cup of coffee, and I hope there's some decorating tips and uh, just maybe going down memory lane as you come into my home today. So come on in. So this is my front veranda, and I will change things as the plants and that, as things grow. So let's go in. All right, we've come into the front door, and we have an old wooden yoke here that my husband added some hangers to hang our coats. And we're gonna keep walking. A lot of things that I love lights, I love antiques, I love country, and a lot of things have been passed down from family to family, and things that I have uh, come to love over the years and can't let it go. You're gonna see a lot of little lamps and lighthouses. My husband loves lighthouses. This is an ordinary home, and we live in it. It's a small house, but we use every corner of every space. So as we come into the living room, I've used baskets here, and old books. It just gives something interesting to look at. I have an old sewing table, and it actually has the sewing machine in there. And I've just filled this with lights and vintage things. Mirrors that bounce the light, which I love. I've used every space. There's a little basket there that I've put under there. Just your eye, just to catch your eye. The old table that I found, and I chalk painted it, and just added some of my plants. I have a love of plants, especially Hoyas. They don't need a lot of care, but the flowers are beautiful and fragrant when they bloom. My collections there of these precious little figurines that have been given to me from friends and family over the years. My coffee table here. Just using things around the house. Old books, vintage books. The roses that I've made from coffee filters. I have a little cloche here, and in there I have my baby shoes and some wooden shoes. An old sewing table that I just filled with artificial flowers. We have some beautiful furniture that belonged to my husband's grandmother and mom, and we were able to receive that, so very special. And of course, our lights. My husband and I love little lights, and you're gonna see them, and especially these little tulip lights. Another little cabinet, and just arrange that, and that's a little knitted doll that belonged to my mom when she was a little girl. And over here, I have an old ironing board that I put there, and I also put just my granny's Salvation Army bonnet. Good memories of being with my granny and grandma coming to our house every Sunday and wearing this bonnet. This is quite a treasured thing of hers. So I wanted to display that. I just put a grapevine wreath underneath there. A Christmas cactus that's very old. And you're gonna see that I've done a lot of DIYs and painting old things to make them look good and new and recycle them. And again, the tulip lights. You're gonna also see a lot of spools from a dear friend that I once knew. And then this old piano belonged to my grandmother, another grandmother. So I guess in a way this is a grandmother's corner. So she was quite a classical music player. I never heard her play, but this was passed from her to my mom, and now it belongs to me. And of course, my little lanterns. We've taken several trips down to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and of course I love that, all those collectibles there. My home is filled with things of memories and things that I love. I treasure, and I have a hard time letting go. So why not display it, right? All right, we're gonna step into my kitchen. You know, if I had my way, I would have lived on a farm and had chickens and that, but you know what? God planted me here. So here I am. I have a farmhouse kitchen, which I love. And we had our kitchen redone a few years ago. And of course I had to have the farm style sink, which I absolutely love, and I've even bathed my grandchildren in it. And there's a sign that I made, and all it is one of those plate holders, and I found a white plate and I just distressed the frame and with a felt marker made it look old, and I love that there. So the things I do are done very economical. I don't spend a lot of money. My love of plants, my Hoyas, and I even have a shelf there for all the seedlings. And I love creating just little vignettes, just little fun things to look at. Swing around, I don't want to make you sick. And so if I can't live on a farm, I bring the farm here, farm fresh eggs. And my cabinet filled with I love to bake. If you've seen my other tutorials on baking, I love baking. All these things. That chicken was handed down to me by my grandma when I was probably 6 years old. So I treasure that. And now we go to this hooser. And this hooser is, it's the one and only thing that I bought at an antique store. Or, sorry, not an antique, at, okay, now we're gonna swing around here to my hooser where I do a lot of baking. And this is the one and only thing that I ever bought from an auction. And when I first went, I was fortunate to be able to stay home with my kids for many years till I returned to nursing. And my first job I ever got, we purchased this hooser. And I love it. I love it. It stores everything. This has got a metal top for my pie. You've seen me baking at it. And you're also going to see that I have a love of crocks and pottery, and love to display that. On the top there are some even bowls that belong to my mom, where she made her plum puddings, steamed plum puddings in them every year. I had a little corner here, and I wanted to have something to hang aprons and that, and all this is one of those bathroom utility things. So I found that, put it there, and then made this tea towel that says Farmhouse. My crock. I'm gonna swing around slowly to my china cabinet, the china cabinet that belonged to my husband's grandmother. And it has a lot of old china. And up above, my husband made this shelf. Let's see if I can get this. And all my crocks there and my pictures that I collect, and I made that milk box. I found just an old box from a yard sale, and I painted it and put some fabric around it, and put that milk with my Cricut. All right, now this is unique. We are now walking into my kitchen dining room area, and what's amazing about this is this should have been the garage, but it's been turned into a dining room, kitchen, and our TV room. What a great idea. We just love it. This table is very old, and it opens up, and we can sit a lot of people around here at Christmas time. And I always like doing a little bit of a display with wire. I love wire baskets. These are things that I found at thrift store. Some springtime plates. My chickens. Our lights are always going. We love them at night, in the day. And I took a old, I guess this is a shelf for plants, but I decided to just display some old cookbooks that belong to my mom. There's an old Purity cookbook here, And what I did is I turned it into a journal, and it's the story of my mom. I wanted something to pass down to the kids. And then there are just my jugs, my Crocs that hold old rolling pins, mashers that I use all the time. Okay, I'm gonna swing around and we're gonna go down to the TV room. Needlepoint, beautiful pictures. I display them all. We're stepping down. It's almost like a sunken room. I have sons that are very, very talented and have done a lot of artwork for me. Beautiful window with all my plants. Another cabinet that belonged to my dad. We stripped it down and we put a lot of those little houses in there, and they twinkle at night. A ladder that two of my sons had as a ladder to their bunk bed. I just didn't want to throw it out, so I brought it here, and I've displayed my spools that I have. And then I have another little box that I have that I painted and just added all my spools into that. Our gas fireplace, our mantle. I love mixing the wood with metal, with glass, greenery. I find it very comforting. An old trunk that I found at a thrift store. It was so cheap, I think it was $3. So I love that. And then I always wanted a chalkboard, and of course we all want these barn board things, and I decided to put it there. Bloom where God has planted you, wherever you are. Just do your best and enjoy life. Our lives are so short, aren't they? But you have to enjoy and surround yourself with people you love and things that God has blessed you with. He certainly has blessed me. Okay, now we're gonna head up, and here's my kitchen from a different view. The sun, that's my sliding door. And you can see our neighbors are pretty close, but that's okay. All right, there's where we came in, and now we're headed upstairs. I love shelves that I can put things on top, and these are all salvaged from either garbage that people is throwing out or at the side of the road, or thrift stores, or hand-me-downs. I've hung plants. Plants make such a difference. Okay, now we have creaky floors, but I like that. So here we go. Over the years, I've done a lot of folk art. And I painted this years ago, and this cabinet holds all of my candles and things that you need to hide sometimes. And a picture gallery. I have a wrought iron dress form here that I found and just put a eucalyptus wreath there. And this angel I made years ago, and her light shines all the time. There's our tulip lights. Okay. My husband has done a lot of woodwork. We love the wood. Mirrors. Love a mirror. Everybody needs a mirror wall. And into our bathroom. People say, how can you live in a house that only has one bathroom? Well, guess what? I grew up in a house that only had one bathroom with 3 girls, and my dad survived that. And guess what? I've lived through 3 boys and 1 bathroom. It could be an outhouse. So there's my bathroom. I've loved the tinware, and I use a lot of that. And I found this old toolbox at a thrift store, and I painted it and sanded it and then stained it. And then I added Hello Sweet Cheeks. And now that the grandkids are starting to be able to read, they love that. This is hydrangea that I put on a wreath, and I made these from coffee filters. And there's a sign that I made, and love that too. Bathhouse. The tinware in that's an old thunder pot, 2 thunder pots, and the one with the lid holds soap, and then you can never have enough toilet paper. Blessed, I'm telling you, I'm blessed. Okay, now into our bedroom. This is the master bedroom, and cozy. I love quilts and blending colors. I love layers, and so there you've seen that I've layered my bedding. The green, the teal green I love, and lights. We love lights, so to me there's nothing better than crawling into bed at night with those lights still flickering. And my cat. My mom gave me this cat. Oh my goodness. I guess I must have been 10. And that cat sits on my bed. Like I say, I surround myself with things that I love and people have given me. This, another mini wire dress form I found, and I just used ribbons and tulle to make a skirt, and then I had a bracelet that belonged to my mom, so I put that at the neck. This desk belonged to my husband's grandfather. It is an old desk with all the cubby holes, and I use it as my makeup table, and it works perfectly. My sign that I made out of an old piece of wood And I just put the words up there, we decided on forever. I think this year we'll be married. Gee, 48 years? I cannot believe it. How blessed I am. Okay, now I'm going to show you a room that is my hideaway. Are you ready for this, you crafters? I love art. I love every form of art. And when our sons grew up and moved away, we turned a bedroom into my home away from home. If I'm not gardening or baking or in the winter months, you'll find myself in this room. I love every form of art. There's probably not one thing that I haven't tried. And this room, my grandkids refer to it as Grandma's Magic Room. I have stools here for them, and they often have sat here and I let them go wild. They are all very creative. I've used old vintage things in this room, artwork that people have given me. That corner shelf, I found this at Value Village. I think it was $10, and it was the blue I wanted. And that holds all of the journals I've made. I've made journals for each of my grandkids when they were born, and journals about my garden, and cards. I love card making. I love working with any type of medium, whether it be oils, acrylic, alcohol inks. I can't tell you how many cards I've made over the years. I've used things in my room that I love again, and like little boxes, and I've labeled them so I know where things are. This little shelf holds a lot of my felt pens, Copic markers. My sewing machine. This sewing machine, my husband gave it to me the very first Christmas. That's an old Singer machine, and I use it. I use it all the time. My stamps, my rubber stamps, my folk art. It's pretty well organized as organization goes. It's my haven. My paper. I've used a lot of these shelves. Underneath this desk was from IKEA, and I have a lot of these bins that hold lace and ribbon. And most of the ribbon and lace comes from thrift stores. So as I sit in this room and closing the tour, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you gained some kind of ideas for your home, and to be reminded that you have to surround yourself with the things that you love, and things that are comforting. And in these days, we need that comfort, don't we? And how good it is that we can bloom right here in our homes, and to use your talents and your gifts of whatever God has given you, whether it's making a card or talking to somebody and offering uh, a coffee or a tea outside. It there is something to be said about giving in so many different kinds of ways. So I hope you enjoyed this. And as time goes on, I will be doing a tour of my backyard, because now with spring coming, we're going to be able to enjoy the garden, and I love gardening. So please subscribe, and any comments, any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. So I hope you have a great day as you celebrate spring. God bless.